Alright, picking up from where we stop, in this video we're going to be working on the like and dislike functionalities in the watch page. Alright, so in our last video we worked on the view count, so we're having a correct view count now, which is by the IP of the device that is currently watching the video. But in this case we're working on the like and dislike view. Alright, so we'll be using ajax to handle our like and dislike. The reason being that if we don't want to use ajax, we use a normal post request to send in our like. Whenever a user click on the like, it will refresh the page, and we don't want that to happen, because when you're watching a video, probably the video is already in the middle and you decide to like the video, if you don't use ajax, it will refresh the page, because we are going to be sending the post request when we click the like button. And for that, we're going to be using ajax to handle that. Alright, so without most of our time, let's head over to our code. First, we head back to the video file, because each individual users are going to be liking the particular video that they are watching. So in this model, so in that case, we are going to create a kind of relationship here, which we're going to call likes. Sorry, in the video we call it likes, which is going to be a many-to-many relationship with the user, because it is users of the sites that is going to be liking the video, which come with the Django authentication system. So we'll be using that user model. So we're going to create a many-to-many relationship, and we're going to give it a related name, like, because in YouTube, let me make something clear, the like and dislike process is like a 4-step process. A user can decide to like a video, and a user can decide to unlike a video. Unlike a video means the user did not like the video and did not dislike the video. That's step 1 and step 2. And second step is a user can decide to dislike a video. That means he hates the video, or dislike the video. That means he did not like the video, he did not dislike the video. So it's kind of like a 4-step process. You can like, unlike, dislike, undislike. So that's the 4-step process. So we have the like, so we're going to have a dislike also, which is also going to be a many-to-many feed with the user. We're going to have a related name. Okay, video disliked. Alright, so that's it. Then we're going to create two methods to get call it a number of like, to get the number of likes, which taking safe, and this is simply going to return. Alright, this is going to return the counts of the likes from this model, and also we're going to get the dislike also, which is going to be the number of dislike, which is also going to take in safe, and also going to return the count of dislike, which is going to return. Alright, so so we need to make migration. So if we save this and we head back to our feed, there's quit our server. Okay, your migration was successful. We clear this and just start our server again. Alright, that's cool. So next we head over to, let's close this. Let's head over to the template first. So let's look for the like icon. Yes, this is where we have the like icon between this div and this div, and also where we have the dislike icon, which is still this div and this div. If you check our template again, getting the like and the dislike. Alright, so we're going to make a little changes here now. First, we're going to change this div to a form tag. Alright, change it to a form tag. Okay, and this form is going to have an action which is going to be the URL that's going to process this form. And here we're going to have a method. It's going to be a post request. Probably give it a class. You can just alright, that's for that. Then in here we can just bring in our CFRS token because we're making a post request. Alright, and then okay, we need to wrap this icon around a button tag. I'll tell you the reason why we're doing this in a moment. Alright, so that we can pass the video ID to this icon, and this button is going to have a type of submit. Okay, it's going to call like button, and the value and name. Let's give it a name first. I'll call the name video ID, the value, which is obviously going to be the ID of our video. My video.id. Guess that's correct. Let's double check and make sure we are using the. Okay, we have my video. That's for the button. So but what we're going to do now is kind of conditional check here, because if the user has already liked the video, we don't want them to be able to like it the second time. Alright, so if they have not liked the video, they'll see the like icon like this, but when they have liked the video, the color of the like icon will change and the count will increase. Alright, so we need to create that now. So we're going to create a kind of conditional check here. And if user my underscore video .o is a many field in the words and video files are model. Alright, so we can access it now and check if the user is not there. We want to show this X S1, this same icon but with a new color. The same icon, but this time we're going to give it a class of 100. Okay, that's for that. So if the user has liked the video, we'll change the color of the icon to blue. But if they are not liked the video, that means the user is not in the like of the video, the color will remain same. Then we'll add a custom class to it, where we want to add some CSS class. Alright, like icon, both of them like icon. So that's for that. Then here where we have the count, we are going to change it to my video dot number of count, number of likes, the class that will apply some CSS to it by saying. So that's for that. Okay, let's save first and see. Now if we refresh, you can see we are having 0 because there's no nobody has liked it now, so it's still 0. Okay, so we're going to be sending our requests with ajax to a particular view which we've not created. We'll create a view, later on in the view.py file. But first of all, let's handle the ajax. Let's grab this value with ajax and send it to our Django server. So in our JS folder inside our static, we're going to create a file, call it ajax.js. This is where we're going to put in all the ajax relating to the video details page actually. Alright, so we're going to test this out. Let's just console log this now for start. Then let's bring it into our watch page. At the bottom of our watch page, I think we have some extra body tag, right? So here we are going to bring in the link to JavaScript. Alright, so if we save now, let's check our console page, and yeah, okay, we got it works. That means our ajax is connected properly. Alright, just ignore these errors. These are some images that are not in our page, these thumbnails. That's why we're getting these errors. That's fun. Alright, our ajax.js is connected to our page art. So what we need to do is to grab the form. Okay, so let's check. Yes, we call it like form. So we're grabbing that form, and we're going to add an event listener, which is the submit event. We're going to call the submit event. I'm going to carry an event parameter. I'm going to say e.prevent default. Alright, so that's when we're going to grab the data. So we need the video ID from the form. The video ID which we're going to get from the button. Remember the button, which also we have a class on it called like button. That's value. So we want to get the value. If you check, we have value, remember, which is our ID, the ID of our video. So we can just check that now by simply having a console button. Alright, it should work. If you hit the button, alright, we are getting our ID. This is fine. Okay. So next we're gonna get the token, because you know we are passing a CFRF token. So this we are gonna get from the string. We say input with the name of CSRF token middleware, CSRF middleware. I want to access the value. Alright, we can also check if you are getting this value by simply consoling log its value. So if we refresh, nothing there. If we try and click, yeah, we are getting our middleware CSRF token. That's okay. Okay. Then next we need to get the URL, which we've not set up yet. So we'll see the URL is going to come from the action. So we'll use jQuery to get, referring to the form, which is this. This is used to refer to the form that this submit action is coming from. They want to access the attribute called action. Alright, so the value of the attribute called action, which is going to be the URL that we want to submit this ajax to. So once we get these values, we can make our ajax call by saying .ajax, which is the ajax method in jQuery, and passing in our object. We will specify the method of URL, which is equal to the URL we are getting from our action, and then we need to send out a header with our headers, which CSRF token So we're passing our token to our header. So that's that. Then we specify the data we want to send, an object which is the video ID. So this is what we want to send. So once we get we send, we need to get a success callback and also an error callback too, which handles the error. So we handle these two later on, but before we do that, before we handle the response, let's head over to our Django and views so we can handle these requests that this ajax is sending. So we head over to called right. So we're gonna get the current login user by saying user equals to the request with user, and I'm gonna create a kind of a boolean value here, which is gonna be like equals false. As first, check if the request equals post. We want to get the video ID from the post. To get the video ID from ajax, we want to get the actual video. We can use a variable called get video, which we can use the shortcut method, which is get object or for, which will pass in the video ID. ID equals to the video ID. Alright, this will give us the video that we're about to like. So now through this video we're going to check, we'll say if the user and model has a like many to many feeds to it .o. So we are checking if the user has already liked the video. If the user has liked the video and he clicked the button, we want to unlike the video by saying get video dot likes dot remove. And what we want to remove? We want to remove the current user. So if the user has already liked the video and clicks the button, we want to unlike the video by removing the user from the like feed. But we want to set the like boolean value to false also. Alright, so then else, when the user has not liked the video before, we just want to get the video dot likes dot add. We want to set the like boolean value to true. Okay, so that's it. So once we've done that, we can send in our data back by saying data, which should be, let's say the like, call it liked, which should be the boolean value. And also we want to send back the like count, so we'll call it likes count. Then this is gonna be the dot count. Alright, so this will give us the count of the likes for this particular video. So once we get these values, we want to return a JSON response because it's ajax call, so it's best to return a JSON response. So we need to import JSON response. If we've not, I believe we've imported it before, so let me just check if we imported it before. Okay, we've JSON response before, so passing the data object and also setting save equals to false. Then when it's not a post request, it will also return a redirect, or if something went wrong, return a redirect with a reverse. So let me import reverse back to the watch page from django.url. Django.url import reverse. Alright, so once we have our reverse, we're going to use it. Reverse back to the watch page. What video watch takes in an extra argument, so we're going to pass in the ajax and go to this. Alright, so that will give us our value. So let's double check so first of all, we are creating the request with the ID, getting the user that is logged in, setting a boolean value of false, checking if the request is a post. If it's a post, we get the video ID from the request. Then also we query for the video ID, and we check if the user has already liked the video. If he has liked the video and he clicks the button, we'll move the user and set the like to false also. Else we add the user and set like to true, and passing it a data that we'll be using also in our template. Sorry, these ought to be in a string or so. Fine. Alright, so we have our like count and Json response. So if we save this and we head back to response and passing the response, also don't forget to come here. Alright, so these are, let's save these now. So let's quickly open up our console again. In our ajax method, we've not specified not the ajax, the template, we've not specified the URL. I almost forgot, sorry. We've not set up the URL that's going to handle this like video. So open our URL display. I'm going to create a URL for it, like video /ID. This is UUID. Remember, the ID we're talking about is the ID of the video, so it's a UUID, just like this one. Instead of us, let's just use like instead of like video. I think it's better this way. Alright, so that's our URL. So if we save this and let's pass this URL into our action in our form .id, got that correctly, pass server again, it's only fine. Let's head over and go to the console. Let's just refresh. Okay, so if we hit the like button, okay, we are getting some error. Occult reference cannot access URL. V4 initialization ajax in our ajax call, which is 10. Okay, we have a syntax error here, so we have to put in the S at the beginning of it, at the $sign I mean. So it couldn't recognize a jQuery. So when we save and refresh, check servers running fine. So if we hit the like button, we can get our response, but we are getting the failed response, and we are getting the internal server error. Let's check our internal server error. Does have to be from our server, so let's quickly check and see what is wrong. I'm getting connection type error feed app. I guess the reason why we got that error was simply because if you check our page, let's let me take it back a little. Let me cancel this. You find out that we are not logged in, so definitely there is no user, so you couldn't get the user, and that's why it's throwing that error, because we are not logged into the site and we didn't use the login require parameter. So for us to avoid such error, we just pass in the login require parameter. Alright, so that will actually redirect us to login first before we can actually perform these actions. But first, let's log in into our site. So let's just refresh and then log in a user. If we head back to our details page, let's open our console again. Now let's try and like again. You can see we are getting the right response. That's it was successful. We can see the like is true and the like count is 1. Alright, this is what we want. Okay, so let's handle the response now in our ajax with our template. So the way we're going to handle the response, first we're going to create a variable, call it like, which is going to equal to. So we're going to try and grab the idea of the place we want to place the count, which we call the like count. So we're going to place there. Then we want to access the test, because we want to change the test to the response from the server. It's going to be response plus. Okay, before that, let me just try and alright, let me just comment this out and save, and also save yeah. Now if you check you can see the button is still like this, the count value is still like this, but if you refresh it, you see the color changes and the count increases. These values are actually coming from our Django value that we passed in here, which is this one, and also the color options that we passed in here. So we have to refresh it for us to actually see the changes, but it's not supposed to be so. We need to see the change instantly when the user clicks the button. So that's what we're going to do with the response here. So alright, so what we're going to do for us to see our changes instantly when user clicks the button, we have to use ajax to also handle that. We don't just use only the Django, because if we are using just this alone, we have to refresh our page, and we don't want that. So once we do this, now this like count will automatically update the like count. But for the color change also, we have to put a check here also, by checking if the response or like, that is the boolean value that is coming from the server, which is this liked value. If it's true, we want to add a color, as this test w700, which is CSS class, to this link icon, like icon I mean. And also when the user clicks, when this value becomes false, we just want to move it also. So this will make our color change instant. So if we save this now, and then our server is still running, if we refresh, everything is still intact. So you see when I click on this video, the changes is instant. The color goes away and the value goes back to 0 instantly. I don't have to refresh my page. That's the power of ajax. Even when the value is playing, when the video is playing, I just have to click, and you see our video was not interrupted and the page never refreshed. So you can see our color change is working fine. So that's what this ajax is doing for us. So the same process applies to dislike. If you are doing dislike, exactly the same step, everything is exactly the same. The only change is just to change where we have like to dislike. The view function is same, we just have to change it to dislike, and also the same process. So I'm not going to waste time, because this video is already getting too long in doing the dislike value. So I believe you can figure that out yourself, following exactly same process. ajax is same, view is same. All you need to do is to change it to dislike, and also the same procedures here. Alright, it's already getting too long. I'll end this video here. Don't forget to subscribe and also give this video a thumbs up. See you guys in the next video.